Good evening. Let us begin today's our discourse on the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, by reciting this holy sloka. Tabu kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriritam kalmashapaham Sravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti E Bhuridajanaha. That whenever we do some work that brings the result, the good result, bad result, and when we are studying this book, as a book, but it's full of knowledge. The discussions, the knowledge takes our mind very high to a spiritual plane. So obviously, one who is explaining, those who are listening, all they get the benefit of this. So that is the sloka that Master Mahashaya, the person who recorded the conversation, he mentioned in the beginning. Now, today, the conversation took place as per the record of the October 16, 1883 at Dakshineshwar in the room of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna, breaking the walls of the institutionalized religions, are transforming the religion into spirituality. So these are the two words, religion and spirituality. And this is very, very important. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who was born in 1836, and then he practiced austere tapasya, austerities, for 12 years, and he realized the God and the divinity and the soul, the Brahman, from different angles, different paths. Then afterwards, understanding the modern psychology, he is telling that you must have to transcend from religion to spirituality. And that is the movement nowadays all over the Western world and also other countries, but this is very prominent in USA, in America. They say SBNR, spiritual but not religious. SBNR, this is the movement. What do they say? They say that it's a religion. Their main protest against the religion is getting associated with the political movements, with the politics, and then marginalizing the freedom of thought. You cannot think in this way, you must have to think whatever we say. So they are narrowing, completely blocking the freedom of thought. So the new movement is, we are spiritual but not religious. SBNR, spiritual but not religious. So this is only this movement. We find it in the attitude of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And he is telling, we hear Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, liberal-minded devotees accept all the forms of God, Krishna, Kali, Shiva, Rama, and so on. Liberal-minded devotees. So when he is mentioning most of the time he is mentioning devotees, but here he said liberal-minded devotees. And this is, we are studying the page 307 of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. There he is mentioning like this, liberal-minded devotees. They are devotee. They love God. They are trying to follow the religion through some path. But at the same time, their mind is open. And that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna again, he is guiding, because he is a perfect spiritual guide. And he is guiding the aspirants, telling that there is a thing called nishtha. That's called single-minded devotion. Now the two things, if we are liberal-minded, what happens? Today we are thinking this God is good, that God is good, or only this some few qualities are good. Those who are practicing this spiritual but not religion, that movement, they are a little confused. Because they do not know actually what is spirituality. And at the same time, they don't like to follow the religion that is associated with some of the politics and social movements and so all those things. That's called institutionalized religions. The religions that has some norms, that has to follow these and that, these people don't like it. Then what do they like? Spirituality. What is spirituality? They are not very much clear about it. But they talk about some of the good qualities. Is that spirituality only, some of the good qualities? The good people, moral people. But that is not spirituality. So we have to reach to the spiritual, that means to the spirit from where everything has come. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, okay, to reach over there, you need the nishtha. The Sanskrit word nishtha means one-pointed devotion. It may be for some ideology, some god or goddess, or maybe quality, a good quality. But that should be the one-pointed. One should cultivate those qualities which have been listed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, in the first 3 slokas, under the caption Daiva Guna. What are the Daiva Gunas? Divine qualities. In the Bhagavad Gita 16 chapter, they give a list of 25 qualities, gunas. And now to develop that, what you should do? To acquire these divine qualities, one need concentration. If we are practicing this and sometimes going here and there, the mind, it is only our mind. And mind is all the time traveling from this to that. It's not concentrated, and when it is not concentrated, obviously we cannot get the benefit of the knowledge. We hear, we forget. We read, we forget. We are knowing it and then we cannot follow it. Why? Because of the mind. Those who have attended those classes, why we should meditate. There we have discussed about the mind, Shipta, Vikshipta, Muda, a different type of condition of the human mind. It is jumping from here to there and it's totally confused, dumbfounded. So different type of situation comes in the mind, and with that mind, if we try to reach to a goal, the spiritual goal, that is a good quality, how to do that? So Sri Ramakrishna is telling it is better to have a nishtha. Then he is giving the example of our Vaishnava, these ladies from the Vrindavan, Gopinis, they are going to see the Krishna, and they knew Krishna as the cowherd boy, and then suddenly when he has become king, and when they are approaching into that, they are covering their faces and telling, this is not the person we knew. How can we show our faces to this man? He is your Krishna only. The Krishna who is to play over there in the Vrindavan, he has become the king over here. No, we don't like to see this man. We know only that person. So that is one-pointed devotion. When Hanumana was approaching, immediately the God, the Vishnu, he said to his power, the Lakshmi, that please take the form of Sita and I will take the form of Rama. Why? Because that is his devotion. Otherwise, he will never accept us. That is called devotion, but not narrowness. So this one-pointedness is necessary. At the same time, while practicing single-minded devotion towards one's own Ishta-Nishta, one should not think that his chosen path is one and only path. That is the only thing. There is nothing wrong in practicing my path, but when I think this is the only path, that is the problem. Narrow-minded devotion leads to the person to bigotry and not to God. When a person is following that narrow-mindedness, is reaching to the bigotry only. Now, when you read the life of some of the saints and sages, the great spiritual aspirants like Mirabai, who is constantly telling, I have only Krishna and nothing else in this world. I don't like to see anything else but the Krishna, the manifestation of God through the form of Krishna. Is this bigotry? No. She is not hating others, criticizing others, pushing out others, because for her everything is nothing but the Krishna. That is the speciality. Though one-pointed, though only one God, one ideology, but at the same time she is thinking everything in this world nothing but the manifestation of her chosen God, that is Krishna. So when we see things in that way, there is no problem. I am not hating others. Swami Vivekananda in one place is telling, if love means I have to hate somebody else, it's better not to practice love. Why should I love? The love doesn't mean that I have to hate someone. That is very peculiarity. But some of the philosophy, some of the practices, they say before reaching to God, whom you love, whom you respect, you must throw stone to that particular thing which you must hate. So this is very peculiar. Why should I have to constantly think that I must hate someone to love someone? That's why Swami Biji said in this way, why one should be broad-minded? Now the question. The one should be broad-minded. Sri Ramakrishna said, liberal-minded. Why? Now comes the philosophy. It's not the emotion. It's a philosophy. We have the reason for this. What is the philosophy? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned in one line, the manifold has come from one alone. The relative from the absolute. Manifold, so many, has come from one alone, and the relative from the absolute. When the absolute, the permanent, the Sat is there, from there all these things have come. That is the reason we should not hate others, and we should constantly think that whatever I see is nothing but the manifestation of God. Sometimes the manifestation is so bad, and at the same time I should shun that, I should be away from that, but not hating that. Jesus is one place he said, hate the sin, not the sinner. It is that bad type of practices, that bad quality that I am not going to accept, but at the same time, not that somebody is already in the net of that. Try to help them, or at least pray for them. You hate the sin, not the sinner. So this is the way we become broad-minded. You may remember that in our last one class on October 11th, we discussed quoting the Tantra. Sri Ramakrishna mentioned that from one many has come. And now there are so many varieties. Those who have attended the saga of the soul in the beginning, we were discussing how many different ways the people have given the explanation how this world, this universe have been created. Because when you are talking about some philosophy, some method, you must have to explain in the beginning what is this creation, how this creation. That is the first thing in the philosophy. And second, who created? And third, what is the relation between these two? The creator, the creation, the relation between the creator and the creation. So that is the whole of philosophy. All philosophy, they are giving the answer to this in a different manner, sometimes through analogy, sometimes through stories, sometimes through quoting this, the life of great people. The creator, the creation, and the relation between these two. So the great religions, all old religions that we see, if we go, the first philosophy begins with the creation. Here we find in the Hinduism, as we have already discussed in many places and all of you know, we have three main paths leading to the goal, same goal. But the goal has been named in different ways. Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. Sat means the truth. That has been named or called or mentioned in different names. Who? The Bahuda Badanti Ekam Sat Vipra. Vipra means those who have realized it. They realized and gave a name, that's all. But the same thing, here we find in the Tantra, they say Shiva is the agent and he is transcendent. Shakti is the instrument, the immanent. The one is transcendent, which we cannot understand, we cannot see, we cannot touch, beyond all our Pancha Indriyas. So beyond that is transcendent, but that is the truth. From there all these things are coming. So transcendent and Shakti, from there is coming immanent. Now, for the example, we do not know where the generator which is producing the electricity, we do not know where it is here located. Some people may know, but majority of the people don't care to know even where is the generator from the electricity is created. But we are happy that the electric supply is constantly we are getting, and we are burning the lights and the fans and these and that, everything is going on with the help of the electricity. But do we care to know what is this electricity, who is producing it, where it is stationed? We do not know. Almost the same way, we are very much careful and attentive to the bodies, the manifestation, but not about the creator. What is this body? Who is working through the body? How this is growing and then decaying and then passing away, again the new form is coming, which is constantly going on inside. We don't know, but that is called spirituality. To know that truth, here it is the Shiva who is transcendent, quiet, but from there only the power is coming, and the manifestation is the immanent. Now, when we see in the war now, in the different TVs, they are showing that a fight is going on in the Middle East. All the soldiers, they are going, all the pictures that is coming of the soldiers, they are going, they are shooting, then the armored car and all those things. But are they really powerful? These soldiers, these people, all these machineries, there is someone, he is taking the decision. He is telling yes, then it is fighting. Stop, stopping. We don't know him. When the reports are coming, they don't go over there. Similarly, it is an example that we see all the time, something behind and all things are going on. Here also, it is the Shiva and is the agent, he is the main, who is creating these. And the Shakti is the immanent. The cosmic manifestation of the Shakti is, however, in essence, is the manifestation of the Shiva himself. Is the manifestation of the Shiva. This is the creation. The moment we know the secret of creation, the definition of the creation, according to the Tantra, it is the Shiva who is the main, manifesting the whole everything in different names and forms, but it is the same Shiva. What will happen? Now I am a Shiva Bhakta. I am a devotee of Shiva. And I go and worship Shiva. And I know the Shiva is having 5 faces. I know Shiva is having different forms. And all those things. One lady was telling me that is it possible to again give a special discourse on Tantra and sometime near the Shivaratri. Because Shivaratri is approaching, so in the time of Shivaratri, Shiva is the main Tantra. I told, okay, now the Shiva, we know Shiva, we are the lovers of Shiva, we worship Shiva, but this same Shiva is manifested with each and everything. That's why Bhagavan Swami Vivekananda, when he was giving a talk in the South India, because they are all very orthodox. We use the word orthodox means a little narrow-minded and then don't like to think anything else except those ideas that they have already formed. They go to the temple, and before going to the temple, they always take the holy baths and then change their clothes. Then in a very good way they will go, and all those so-called high caste people, higher caste people, they go. And so-called, I use the word so-called, lower caste. How do you know the lower caste and higher caste? Maybe a lower caste born, so-called lower caste born, grown up in a higher caste family, he is accepted as the higher caste. How do you know that? Maybe there is a change in the hospital after the birth. What will happen? So all this that we think is a wrong conception. It's the mind of the human being. But anyway, they always go, they always think that it is their only privilege to go, nobody else should go, and this is the God you have to worship. Whether the people are hungry outside, they are dying, still you should go and pour the milk on the head of the Shiva, and all these things. Swami Vivekananda said, the living Shivas are dying all around, and you are worshipping this. So that is the way. Wherefrom he said? Out of emotion? No, not at all. And he said with the philosophy. What is the philosophy? Shiva has taken different forms. So go and serve the Shiva in Jiva. The Jiva means the individual. So serve the Shiva, the immanent, in the immanent Jivas, the transcendent Shiva. So this is the way they said. In the book Bhagavad Gita, it is actually the Vedanta that has been in a wonderful way, in a small form, condensed form. Whole Vedanta comes in the Bhagavad Gita. 15th chapter, very first sloka is again explain the Vedantic way of manifestation. What is this? He said, Urdhamulam adhashakam ashvattam prahurabbayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda sa vedavid. One who can understand this, understand the Veda. Understanding the whole Veda, it says understanding the whole Veda. How? By understanding the creation. What is the creation? The Urdha Moolam, the root is in the up. It says eternal Ashwatha. Ashwatha is a tree. Is rooted above and branching below, whose leaves are the Vedas. Vedas means the knowledge. Now, he who knows it is the knower of the Veda. The knower of the Veda means you have to understand that all this creation is nothing but the manifestation of the same consciousness. When you understand that, realize that, try to understand that, how can you be narrow-minded? How can you be jealous? How can you be angry with others? How can you fight with others? It's not possible. So the religion is always the good which is helping us to develop all the best qualities that a human mind can achieve. So this is, they say, and the Vedanta, it says that Sad Karya Vada. Sad Karya Vada, that's called Samkhya, the Samkhya philosophy. The cause is hidden into its effects. And effect is just a transformation of the cause. That's called Sat Karya Vada. Sat means the eternal. Karya, the kriya, the work. The Vada, the theory. Sat Karya Vada. What is that? The cause from where the creation is coming is hidden. I am discussing it because Sri Ramakrishna said the broad-minded people, the devotee who are liberal-minded, they should accept everything. At the same time, holding their own chosen deity, chosen God, that's called Ishta Devata. Now, why he said that? So, we quote it from the Tantra, that Shiva is the only creation, and Shiva is creating himself. Then we find over here in the Bhagavad Gita, the same thing it says, only those who can understand these, that all these manifested beings, different names and forms, are nothing but the same consciousness whom we call as Brahman, Atman. It's a great knowledge. So when we understand that, that is called Vedavid. And you need not to understand anything else. That is the ultimate. That's called Vedanta. Here again is a technical words they are using, Satkarya Vada. Satkarya means Samkhya philosophy explaining cause is hidden into its effects. Effect is just the transformation of the cause. Satkarya Vada, it gives the concept Parinama Vada. Parinam means completely transforming. What is that? Some people, they think that when a milk is converted into yogurt, it is the yogurt, not the milk again. So Satkarya, Sat, the God, has transformed into this world. Now it is the world only, there is no God. Cannot be. Because the God has transformed itself into this world. Like the milk transformed into the yogurt. Now you cannot find milk. If you say take out the milk out from the yogurt, it is not possible. It has already been. So that is called Parinamavada. It is completely transformed. So Parinama. But Shankara said, no, it is not. It cannot be. The God cannot be transformed permanently into a different shape, a different form, different name, different entity. It is not. So what is it? It says Vibhartavada, as if superimposition. So Parinamavada means evolution, and Vibhartavada means superimposition. Vibharta is just changing. But who is changing? Not that but thing, but my mind. It is changing. Sometimes in the dark, when you are walking over these carpets, you think that, oh, the decoration is totally different, something has happened. Maybe someone poured the water, so it may be so soaked in water. You go and touch, no, it is not. But just because of the shadow and the conception and all this, you think in that way. It happened to me. So I went and touched and, oh no, it is not. Because when there is darkness, a little light is coming, it's confusing. It is not changed. It is as it is. But I am thinking it has been changed. So I am superimposing my thought on a thing which is in reality no change. So that is called Vivartavada. These are the terminologies of the Vedanta, Satkaryavada, and from the Satkaryavada it says Parinamavada, and according to Shankaracharya, the Parinamavada actually Vivartavada. But we accept the Shankara point of view. This God, it has manifested into so many different forms. In English they call it pantheism. All is God. And another word, panentheism. Panentheism, all in God. The all cannot be God. We are thinking all are God, that means everything is God. No, God, everything in God. So that is the thing. Sometimes they give the example, the waves of the ocean are not the ocean. The waves of the ocean, they are in the ocean, they are forming in the ocean, but they are not the ocean. So that is the way we have to understand all that forms that we see. The God has manifested, but how? It is not in a Parinamavada, evolution, the complete and end, but Vivartavada, superimposition. And all the people, that's why in Christianity we find the conception of Holy Ghost. The God cannot transform, so He has sent His main image, His Son, into the world to spread the message of God. But when the person, the Jesus, the Son of God, is there in this world, He cannot directly communicate with the God. So, is coming through the Holy Ghost. That is the conception. Here also, if the God is transforming, then there will remain no God. So though Sri Ramakrishna mentioned only one sentence, but it has a very deep meaning. Now, just to understand the creation, it says, from the Supreme Consciousness, Brahman, comes the Maya. And the Maya covers a portion of the consciousness and it transforms to Ishvara. Maya Upohita Chaitanya. Chaitanya means the consciousness. Upohita, covered. Covered by what? Chaitanya. The basic is the Chaitanya. Now we say that when we are preparing the sweet, inside the sweet we put something which is a different thing, but it's a very good taste, and cover that with something else, maybe Maya. So the Maya, when covering something and then we are giving it to some people, they are eating it and they are appreciating it. That is called Maya Upohita Chaitanya, the consciousness. Consciousness covered by Maya is the Ishvara. The Supreme Brahman is not creating. Supreme Brahman out of itself is producing a power that's called Maya, the name of that particular power. And this power, again, covering a portion of the consciousness and creating Ishvara. This is conception of Ishvara. And then Ishvara is creating again the jivas, the individuals. Then what are those jivas? Now it says, ego covered that consciousness. The consciousness covered by the ego is the jiva. Consciousness covered by the Maya is the Ishvara. Now the jiva and the Ishvara, jiva is trying to go to the Ishvara. Ishvara means God, we know the Ishvara is the creator. all that we are trying to reach where? Ishvara. What is the Ishvara? It is me only. How I can be? Because I am also consciousness and the God is also consciousness. Then what is the condition? He is superimposed by the Maya. I am superimposed by the ego. It is also Maya, but different type. So the ego covering consciousness is the Jiva. And from that Upohita Chaitanya, Ishvara creates the world. The Ishvara, who is the covered by the Maya, but the consciousness creating the world. First he created the 5 certain elements, that is ether, air, fire, water, earth, this Panchabhuta, Shiti, Apa, Tej, Marut, Bhum, but not the gross. It is not the water that we can drink, it is not the fire that we can understand. It is the subtle condition of that. Then from the Maya, it comes the ether. From the ether, that is the air is coming, and from the air is the water, and from the water again, this Akashat Vayu, Vayur Agni, Agni Apaha, Apo Prithvi, Prithibhyam Aushadayaha. These are the 5. Akashat Vayu. First is the ether, the Vyoma, then the Vayu, the air. And from the Vayu comes by Agni, the fire. From the Agni, Apaha, from the fire comes the water. And from the water, the earth. And in the earth, again, all vegetation. And when the vegetation, then all other jivas. So this is the Sistik Krama according to the Vedanta. Particularly Sankhya. Sankhya is giving this example. In this way, it is created. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling that I am in a peculiar state of mind. He is explaining about himself. I am in a peculiar state of mind. My mind constantly descends from the absolute to the relative, and again ascends from the relative to the absolute. And it is going up and coming down. It is really very, very special. When after long practices, maybe life after life, someone is practicing, that's called Mahapurusha, Mahayogi, they somehow ascend to that consciousness and never come back. They never come back. So that is only one time. But here is a person, just within us, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is so easily, he is telling, so simply he is telling that my mind is coming down to the relative and from the relative ascending to the absolute. So that is called Bhava Mukha. In Sanskrit, that condition of the mind called Bhava Mukha. Mukha means the mouth, the face, and Bhava, idea. The conception, the Bhava Mukha. When all his realization was over, then he was thinking, I have already realized what is the truth. Then why should I survive? Why should I live? For what then? Because I know this world is nothing, illusory. Then why should I live like this? When we are playing with the toys and slowly growing up, then a grown-up person leaves those toys and say, enough of all this nonsense. I don't need to play with that. Children, under that psychology, they are so much interested to play with those things, the toys. But the grown-up people, they will never like to sit over there to play with the toys. Why? Because of the experience. It is natural. Similarly, those who have already realized God, already understood the reality of this world, they will say, why I should be here? Sri Ramakrishna, after their realization, he thought, why not give up the body? Why I am going to live over here? What is the purpose of living? When he was thinking in this way, suddenly from the floor, a white smoke started appearing. And that happened in Dakshinesha, in the room where he used to stay. Just before the room, he was lying on the space is there. He was sitting and thinking. He saw the white smoke is coming out and slowly taking a form of a face, a big face, a long beard, white hair. And he said, "You must live in Bhavamukha." This is a big chapter. If you read that, the biography of Sri Ramakrishna written by Swami Sharadananda Ji Maharaj, that has been translated into American English by Chetanananda Ji. So if you read that book, a chapter is there on the Bhavamukha. This is a special condition of Bhavamukha, and it says that my mind constantly descends from the absolute to the relative, and again it ascends from the relative to the absolute. When we sit for meditation, what we do actually? We try to make our mind reach to the higher level. So we try to ascend from the relative to the absolute. Mind is going and thinking so many other things. Then again we are bringing back the mind and concentrating on one particular point, particular image, and then slowly trying to forget my own personality, my own body, own surroundings, and slowly going up to the spiritual level. Here Sri Ramakrishna said it was so easy. The attainment of the absolute is called knowledge of Brahman, but it is extremely difficult to acquire. Extremely difficult to acquire. A man cannot acquire the knowledge of Brahman unless he completely rids himself of his attachment to the world. So this is the ultimate thing, secret of success. Giving away the whole world. And what is this world actually? If we go on giving the list, it is an impossible, unending list. But in one word, it can be said, aham mameti. Aham, I, mama iti, and mine. Me and mine, that is the whole world. And from this me and mine, all different things have come. If I can give away the me. And what is the me again? Sri Ramakrishna pinpointed that and telling this is the ego. The ego when goes away, I am. But we do not know who is this I am. When I am claiming that I am, but what is this I? That he doesn't know. That is the ignorance. The moments we can go back to that particular source, what happens? We become that Brahman, because that is the true nature. But this is very, very difficult, extremely difficult, because you have to go beyond this. Then he says, the manifold has come from the one alone, the relative from the absolute. Again, when God changes the state of my mind, he is explaining about himself. When he brings my mind down to the plane of the relative, I perceive that it is he who has become these, the creator, the Maya, the living beings, and this universe. He is the master, and the universe and all its living beings belong to him alone. That is the knowledge. And I am the doer, I am the guru, I am the father. That is ignorance. And with this, he says, as long as you do not feel that God is the master, you must come back to the world, you must be born again and again. There will be no rebirth when you can truly say, O God, thou art the master. So when we take this human form or whatever forms, we suffer. Why? Because that is the natural thing. Whatever is created is going to be destroyed, today or tomorrow. Jayate, asti, vardhate, vipariniyamate, vipakshiyate, mriyate. These are the 6 changes that has been found and noticed by the people of Brahma Jnana, Brahma knowledge. Jayate is born, asti it is then remaining, vardhate it is growing. Like that, ultimately it goes to death. So from the birth and the death, that is the circle completing. Again birth. Not that after the death everything is over. Another form, another name, recycling. So it goes on recycling. You cannot stop it. It's not the one time and it's over. So that is the reason. The moment we have taken this body, the birds, they are also suffering. And the animals, the insects, and the human being, higher grade of human being, all are suffering. Why? Because the moment you are taking the form and thinking that this form is me, suffering. And there is no other way. Ultimate is this. What is the Buddha Dev said? That is his knowledge. Buddha said, ultimately this is all suffering. Dukkham, dukkham, sarvam dukhyam. The birth after birth, everything is full of misery, misery and misery. And it has the cause. What is that cause? Desire. And then you can go beyond these. There is a possibility. How? By giving up the desire. How to give the desire? Give up the desire? Then he gives the 8 formula, 8 steps. Or this way, this way, this way, this way. So here also Sri Ramakrishna said, unless and until you offer, O God, thou art the master, as long as you cannot say, O Lord, thou alone art real, you will not be released from the life of the world. This going and coming, this birth and the inevitable, birth is inevitable. There will be no liberation. Further, what can you achieve by saying, it is mine? Now he is giving an example. And most of the time we say, this is mine, ye mera hai, this is mine. Now he is giving an example, and very wonderful example. He said, there was a manager. He used to look after the estate of a rich man. And the manager used to say, this is our garden, this is our couches, and this is our furniture. This is all made of best wood. He used to feel proud. Then suddenly he was dismissed one day, as they call fired. And the master gave him one box made of mango wood. Mango wood is the worst type of wood. And even he was not having the capacity to take that box. Because it was given by the master to him, he cannot take it. So when we say that this is my tower, this is my building, this is my this one day will come, in Hindi they say in the couplet, ek din ek kala din aayega, sab kuch le jayega. A black day will come, black moment will come, everything will be taken away from you. You cannot hold anything. This is so true. Everyone, every moment, we are realizing it. But still, that is called the Maya. We listen to it, we go beyond this door, immediately we forget. Something again cover up our mind, and so again we are thinking, oh no, we have to do this and that. But that is called Maya. The feeling I and mine has covered the reality. Sri Ramakrishna is concluding, the feeling I and mine has covered the reality. Because of these, we do not see the truth. Attainment of Chaitanya, divine consciousness, is not possible without the knowledge of Advaita. Advaita means oneness. Na Dvaita Advaita. Na, negative, no. Two, so one. So one means Advaita. That is called non-duality. After realizing Chaitanya, Chaitanya means the consciousness, one enjoys Nityananda. Then after realizing that, reaching over there, what we get? Continuous joy. Nityananda, continuous joy. And eternal bliss. One enjoys this bliss after attaining the state of Paramahamsa. He is indicating about his condition. There's another conception, Paramahamsa. Hamsa means the swan. The Paramahamsa. It is in the water, but at the same time not belongs to the water. Water cannot wet it. It goes anytime dry. So live in this world, but completely free of any attachment. That is called Paramahamsa condition. Having all relations, but at the same time completely detached, not affected by anything of this world, called Paramahamsa. Do you know what the vision of divine consciousness is like? Now, a very important thing that he is mentioning, almost very casually. Do you know what the vision of divine consciousness? When the vision of consciousness comes, we always think about some of the vision. Many people, they come over here and they share their different type of experiences. I saw this, I saw that. Yesterday one gentleman came, he was telling. But the consciousness, what is the vision of consciousness? Sri Ramakrishna said, it is like sudden illumination of a dark room when a match is struck. The moment that it is lighted, there is no darkness. Immediately, everything, every corner, all lighted. That is called the consciousness. When the moment I come to know that everything is nothing but the God, just imagine how we can see, how we can feel. That is the moment that is called the supreme consciousness, the sudden illumination of a dark room. Thank you very much. We will again continue this discussion about the incarnation and other philosophies. Let us conclude with this mantra again. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavattaram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Whatever we do,